Hey guys, I know it's been a long time since I posted anything on this channel, but let's get straight to it. Today we're talking about Squid Game. I'll talk about why I didn't post for the last 3 weeks later on, but now let's talk about Squid Game. There's a new segment on this channel that is TV shows Christian reviews, and you'll love it. Let's hit the intro. Everybody's talking about Squid Game on social media, on Twitter, on TikTok. Even on Facebook, people are talking about Squid Game. So, what is Squid Game? Squid Game is a Korean series, not the kind of romantic Korean series kind of thing. This is intriguing and full of suspense. The storyline is set in 2020 in Korea, well, specifically South Korea. So, there's this guy who's one of the main characters, that's Gion. Gion is in deep debt and is introduced to this game, has a secret invite, he agrees to the contract, eventually is brought to this island that nobody knows where it is, but obviously around Korea somewhere. And the whole game is in 6 games. All right. You play 6 games, which is just a gamble of your life, literally. And at the end of the 6 games, the winners take away 45.6 billion won. Heads up, this whole movie is in Hangul, that's Korean. There are subtitles and voiceovers for you to watch and not let language be a barrier. So in this whole storyline, we see a whole lot of plot twist happening, betrayal, people losing their lives we never expected. Now, one interesting thing about this whole series is that nobody really knows the next game. So through it all, everybody's anticipating, trying to find ways, trying to find clues to the next game. Only for us viewers to figure out, getting to the end of the game, that all the games had their clues painted on the walls if they only paid attention. Well, sometimes what we search for out there so keenly are just close to us, we just don't realize it. Now let's get to the characters. I've already talked about Gion, so I'd like to skip him. Some of the most interesting characters you find is Saebyuk. Oh gosh, she is so quiet and so observant, yet has a lot of guards emotionally. Honestly, she's just sweet. Then there are a few annoying people like this and this. They are a whole mood in the whole series. However, when you look at people like Ali, who was very good, very loving, very helpful to a lot of people until he's betrayed, which is a very tipping point, and you will love the series, you will love his character. So naive in a lot of things. And then we come to people like Sang-woo. This guy is straight up annoying. You can't even tell his facial expression right from the beginning to the end because his facial expression doesn't even match his actions. And in the end, getting to the end, he starts betraying everyone, which is very, very awful of him and a very weird character in a way of survival. Now, let's get to the moral of the story. One interesting guy, and that's why I've secluded him from the rest of the characters, is Player 244. Player 244 seemed to be a pastor who lost his way or a Christian who lost his way and is now getting back into his faith because of the things that are happening, which projects how people can really leave their faith or can proclaim they're Christians and not really care till they are really in very dire situations before they begin to realize that God is alive and God is with them, and now they appreciate everything relating to God even when they should just use their head and think and get straight through their problems. I kind of feel like Christianity is projected in a different way in this whole series, although yes, we know it's a worldly series and not Christian. It is not restricted to Christian, it's a secular thing. However, when you look at the whole series, it seems as if Christianity is a bit misrepresented in the series. I don't know whether it's because of how it is in South Korea, but I doubt that because I've never stepped into South Korea, so I can never predict that. However, how they projected Christianity is not the best. That's all I'll say about it. Let's get into the rest of it concerning the morals of this whole story. Now, when you look at somebody like Ji Young, the partner that Saebyuk chose, that lady, and you look at her background, there's a lot of hurt. So you realize that when player 244 was praying after the tug of war, she really said some very sensible stuff, although it came out very harshly against him. You could see that there was some kind of hostility against his prayer because of her background and the experiences that she's had, her own so-called father being a priest and how he molested her and her mom. Interestingly, she's the one who was hostile to the Christian was the one that showed more love in the whole of the series in being able to be ready to do such a serious sacrificial act for Saebyuk. Interestingly, these people, I wouldn't say straight up, were considering it because of the love of money. Some of them were in that situations, were in a whole lot of debt. So the game starts off to become more of an instinct survival kind of thing for some, and for some it's more of a dominance thing. Let us earn more by making more people lose their lives. And so that was how, in those kind of ways, it was. And it really projects how people would do anything and really sacrifice even good people for them to move to the next level. An example is Sang-woo, in how he betrayed some people that were very good to him, which makes him very weird. Like I said, just go watch the series, you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, in the last but one aspect of this whole story, I would like to talk about those who are in authority. Those in authority, the game planners and the guardians, are all wearing masks. All those in authority in any kind of way wear masks, except the people. And all these players are also in uniforms with numbers. And it shows how people in authority can really hide behind the mask of position, the mask of superiority, to be able to make their subordinates really suffer. You see this in politics, in governance. You see this at corporate settings, where people really dominate over people who are under them in many ways. In Psalm 2, that is the book of Psalm chapter 2 from verse 1 downwards, you realize how people really love to play God. There are people in authority who would thrive on playing God, changing the system of nature, trying to change every system. And yes, it also projects how in the future things could be in the world. However, as Christians, we begin to realize that if these things are being formed in the minds of people, it is obviously something that is also happening somewhere, and people actually desire it. Now, I'll not get into conspiracy theories, because if this thing is to be broadened and widened, a whole lot of conspiracy theories should be brought in. But we all know there are people in authority who like to play God. If you doubt that, just look at some of the developing countries and you know what I'm talking about. People who don't even want to step down after their term of office has come to an end, literally. There are a whole lot of examples like that throughout history, and you understand that. So do not pierce yourself with many stories because of the desire of money. And also, don't try to play God. If you know that you are in a position of power and God has put you there, just do the right thing. Be like Daniel, an excellent spirit. In all, I'll rate this series as, in terms of SNLV for DSTV kind of rating, I would say this is generally okay for people who are 16 or 18 years above, depending on your geographical environment. However, in terms of Christianity, there's an S scene that you really have to be careful of, and a little of V and L in there. If you watch DSTV, you understand it. You can just search it up and understand these kind of ratings that I'm talking about. In all, I know a lot of people, like Christians, some Christians really don't even watch Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. They don't do that. All they do is just consume the word of God and anything that is just the word, which is good. It is not bad. Neither is watching Netflix a sin. Just be careful in the scenes and whatever you watch, that you are consuming the right thing for your spirit. However, in things like this, I try to tilt towards this kind of stuff so that I broaden my scope in reaching people concerning the word of God. And I think this has been amazing. This has been lovely. There's more that we can talk about, but I'd like to end it here. If you really enjoyed any aspect of the series and it's a spoiler and you still want to talk about it, drop it in the comment section. Let's talk about it. Let's put the rest of the people in anxiety for them to go and watch it. Well, maybe that's not your kind of series and you want me to talk about any other kind of series, or maybe you love this. If you have any series, whether Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, any kind of series that you're really interested in and you want me to do a breakdown on it like this, like a whole Christian review on it, bring it out. I'll check it out and watch. Yeah, I'll be down in the comment section chatting with you. Stay blessed, stay connected, stay safe. Hey, if you're a Christian and you really love this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, suggest any other Netflix movie or Netflix series, Hulu, Amazon Prime, anything like that, any series that's on your mind that you think is interesting that we Christians could learn something from. Stay blessed.